Then a stretch up top is going to lose not all of it, actually breaking through. It's a first down run. Will be another throw. Bryant getting demolished. Ball pops free, picked up, dialed up, it opens up, and it's off the hands. Just need the smarter decisions and walking it in. But we're running to the weak side, picking up a block right down the middle. There goes Roundtree sprinting right down the middle. As long as Stokes doesn't catch him, he is gone. But it's going to be Hunter Henry with the touchdown. Downfield, we need a ball on him quickly. He did well to get us to the point where the game was in our hands once again. But when it gets to that point, this team has crumbled. Only one touchdown in the Texans and Colts game. We made it close against the Raiders on the year. And that is exactly why we are still looking for it. First play pick with a clean pocket. Laser down to the bottom, and it's picked off. 3, we hand it off Batty, and there we go. We can run. Roll here, will be a throw, and straight. Coming across, we got our guy, and it's Dennard. Probably, I think even our worst season, only one win this year. And coming off our worst season yet. We didn't have a single Pro Bowler, nor yearly award winner, nor were we really even in the running for any of the yearly awards. But this season ends with a Chargers Super Bowl, their first ever Super Bowl after they made it there twice, including that one. They win 30-24 over the Dallas Cowboys, and Dak Prescott, funnily enough, in this universe with the Chargers due to the fantasy draft, is the Super Bowl MVP. You can see the yearly award winners over on the right-hand side, but that is about as much of a recap as we need for, what was it, season 3. Awful. Time to move into season 4, where we're going to see a whole lot of change this offseason going into the new year. And one of those changes is on the offensive line, an area that we really did not want to get any weaker at. We are missing now our starting left tackle and one of the higher overalls for our offensive line. And as for some re-signings, well, we really need to do some of that. We have a whole lot of cap space, close to 200 mil, but we definitely have some that are pretty big. Kareem Curl, Caleb Evans, both are starters. Cam Jurgens, another starter for our offensive line. And then some just developmental guys. There is Froholt, another starter for our offensive line we need to sign. Roundtree looked really good last episode. Want to keep him around as well. Nick Gates, I don't think was starting, but now might need to start. We've got a lot of signings that need to take place here. So starting from the top, Kareem Curl, we're going to just boost up some of these numbers. He already wants to come back, but we got a bunch of cap space and I don't want to miss out on any of these guys, so Kareem Curl will be back. As for Caleb Evans, he does have interest as well. Again, we'll just bump up the bonus. We'll take the salary down a notch. He should still sign that. However, he's thinking free agency. He's luckily not that highly rated, so it shouldn't be a problem, but we'll probably have to come back to him. And that could be a similar situation here with Cam Jurgens, who doesn't have a whole lot of interest. We'll raise up the bonus, put in that offer, and it's another free agency. Hopefully we could get some of these to go our way. Froholt, we're going to make it a 2-year deal because that's the remainder we have in this series. We'll bump up the numbers a little bit, and he really likes the offer, so he's in. As for Roundtree, not a lot of interest, but he's not really asking for a lot, so we could definitely boost this up a little bit. Gonna see a good rotation at running back this year, so paying him a little bit more I think would work. However, he still thinks free agency would be better for him. Not the best closed free agency for sure. At least here with Nick Gates, has some interest. We'll raise up the year bonus and salary, and that one is done. Now, surprisingly, Armand Watts was actually really good last year in the 4-3 that we switched to. So definitely want to make sure we keep him around. He is now 30 years old, so not going to be progressing much, but we don't have a whole lot of options. He really likes the offer. Now, as mentioned, there's going to be a lot of change. I have created a new playbook, and that's very much going to use some fullbacks. So we're going to need to keep Andy Yanovich around. He's going to be 34 after this year, so he might retire. So we're going to keep it a 1-year deal, and he will return. However, there were quite a few guys that we did not offer contracts to, Greg Zuerlein being one of them because he did not have a good year. Dylan Cole, Randy Gregory, George Odom, Darian Daniels still might end up coming back, Mike Ford, Jonathan Owens, and then we saw these other guys. I don't think we talked about Dante Bowman or Jose Cox or Bumper Pool. So Some of these guys most likely will actually still end up returning, but the main ones we need to focus on is going to be a Caleb Evans and Cam Jurgens. And for the most part, open free agency actually went a good bit better for us than closed. We brought in Jerry Jacobs, a new corner, has not been part of the team. Jurgens is back as well as Evans. Don't know if we've had Tershawn Wharton yet, but he's coming in. He played at Missouri S&T. And we brought in Dwight Campbell. He's a punter. He might be a kicker for us. We are going to play around with that. Jonathan Owens returns as well as Roundtree. We also brought in Brett Maher, though hopefully he's not actually going to be our kicker. The one person we missed on was Ricky Stromberg. Was really trying to bring him in, played at Arkansas. We gave him a better deal. It was 2 years, similar money, but he wanted to go play for the Baltimore Ravens. So we missed out there. Potentially, depending on what the rest of our offensive line looks like, we still might have to trade for him later on. We will see, but that will wrap out free agency. Now, as for the draft, I don't expect us to be here very long at all, considering the fact that there is only one draftable player. It's a corner out of Nebraska in Troy Means, and his true talent is lower than his projection. Projected 2 to 3, talent 3 to 4. He's 5'10", 203, 21 years old. He's an all-right athlete. He either runs pretty fast, a 4.39 to a 4.46, solid speed. Pretty decent variance there. Rest of the athletic build, And the skill set has some intriguing things to it. B press, B catching, B injury, those good. The coverages are both C's, some D's sprinkled in there. All around, I think he would be a depth, maybe even rotational corner. So not a big need for us. If we get him, great. If we don't, fine with me. And with the trades that we did last episode, one of which was for this pick, first overall in the draft, we needed an offensive lineman in Ragnow. So we're just going to see what they do here. As we jump forward a pick, they go with outside linebacker Derek Towns out of West Virginia. Now from here, we're just going to jump straight to our pick. Again, if the corner is there, great. We'll take him here. We know it's a little bit higher, but he's the only projected draftable player for us. So let's just see. He is here. And we don't have any other second rounders. We could risk him not being there later on in the third, but I don't think there's anyone to trade for right now. So let's just go ahead. We'll pick up Troy Means. He's a normal dev with 91 speed, 93 acceleration, 82 agility, and change of direction with 88 jumping. Rotational guy is my assumption, maybe sitting around a 69-70 overall. That is my guess. But we do have a fair few amount of picks left in this class, so let's do a deep dive on just overall NFL roster to see if there is anyone that we could use. And funnily enough, after going through every single position, Ricky Stromberg really is the best option for us via a trade. And he's primarily a run blocker fitted towards the finesse, and we are going pure run blocking this season. So real life, they probably would not make a trade straight with us right after picking him up, though they are thinking about maybe a trade that could happen. So if we just offered up the current 3 we're sitting on, where does that leave us? And they're wanting a lot more than just this 3. Well, what about if we just give them our full haul of picks remaining in this draft? They up for that? They like it, but they still want a little bit more. Well, what if we tack on the 3 from 2 years from now? That will get it done. So it's a good haul, but we bring in a starting offensive lineman. And with that, we are done here with the draft. So we could go ahead and just jump to the end and go take a look at Troy Means. And I was spot on with my assumption. A 70 overall for Troy Means. With the coaching, does boost it up to a 71. Now the ratings themselves, very well balanced. Does have the good press. Does have some tackle ability. So he's a depth slot corner. Or perhaps he might even play a little bit of safety for us. Catching isn't great, but the speed and acceleration are pretty good. Play rec a little bit low. What's the awareness? Also a little bit low. We will have to compare him to some of our other safeties because we're pretty light at free, which is where he would probably fit in best. If we were to keep him at a corner, he would be our 5th corner. So essentially he would never see the field. But let's flex him to free and do the comparisons. And he would still be the lower overall at a true 68. Speed very comparable. Agility about the same, change of direction right in the middle. Strength is the worst. Awareness not too much different, nor play rec different than any one of the other guys. He's going to have a lot more man coverage. Not the best zone, but not far off Gillespie, who's just a few higher. Press is better. Catching is pretty much tied for the first. Tackling is the worst. And hit power is going to be the worst. So he's just not a big hitter. He would be a roaming safety. I think we're going to keep him here at safety. And that might mean maybe we move on from Owens, as he doesn't have the mentor tag, not really going to help us. But we might have to try Troy Means and Gillespie, and Owens is no longer going to be in the starting lineup. Now, speaking of lineup, here is our lineup going into Season 4. Again, the offensive line saw a little bit of change, mostly just Stromberg. Everyone else is back, though shifted around. McGovern playing at left guard, Froholt out to left tackle. It's a very run-heavy offensive line. Henry, Albert O, and Stoll still the tight ends, though we did add a fullback, a UDFA, in Gonzalez. We have two fullbacks. They're very tight in overalls, but we're running a lot of heavier looks as we are primarily running. And if you did leave last episode early of this series, you would have missed that Traylon Burkes has moved to running back. He's a 90 overall, seeing a +1 from the coaches. We also have Batty, Andrews, and Roundtree. I expect to see a heavy rotation with these running backs, and we'll get that with changing around some of these substitution sliders. So the receivers are going to be Sheldon, the second-year receiver, and Palmer. We don't have a whole lot of formations that use 3 receivers. It's primarily going to be ground and pound, completely taking out essentially the quarterback spot. Just hand off the ball unless it's 3rd and long, 4th and long, or for a little bit of 4th and medium, or 2-minute drives. Besides that, it should primarily be our running backs. As for the defense, not really much of any change. Linebackers and defensive line the same, and safeties for the most part the same. But we're going to give Means the shot to start at free if he doesn't do well for giving up a lot of passing yards. So we could slide in Gillespie and just play the hot hand there. The corners, for the most part, are staying the same, though we are putting Jacobs in as the primary second corner. And Evans, he's going to drop to play nickel, which I feel like actually fits him better. He's a slot corner. Tackling is good. Hopefully that altogether improves the team. And pretty much outside of power running back, we really see the same exact lineup as we did prior to, or have already talked about it. Now, we also are rocking with the punter turned kicker for our kicking spot, and hopefully he does well. One of the UDFA corners that we brought in, he's going to be our kick returner this year. Hopefully, as mentioned, this is the year. The massive change, custom playbook will finally see us be successful. And it all starts in week 1. We'll jump in, watch a little bit of this game, but we got to get through the whole season, and recording wise, it's going to take a little bit longer with that custom playbook because I actually have to go in and sim through every game. So we'll see how the time ends up working out. But we're definitely going to jump in and watch a little bit here of week 1 versus the Cardinals. And with the main focus for this first game going to be on the offense, we're going to go through the defensive drives here. Again, want to focus in on the offense to see how that new playbook actually ends up working out. For this defense, though, we do need to see them have a good year. We have a weak defensive line, but we're seeing improvement basically everywhere else. So hopefully they end up having a decent season, though they do not get the stop there, but it's an interception for Greenlaw on one of the few passes, giving our offense pretty good starting spot at midfield. So for the first time, we're breaking out the central playbook. Again, heavy run, weak, strong, a lot of single back, sprinkling in a couple shotguns, plus a little bit of some 2-3 receiver actual sets from those tighter packages. Primarily, we're taking Bryant out. We're giving this to Burkes and the rotation of running backs and seeing how well that ends up working out for us. As we go down the middle, it opens up a good little bit and will be a 3rd and 1. We saw that Bryant, throughout the last couple seasons, he just wants to be a field general. He doesn't want the weight of the game on his shoulders. So that's what we're doing here, as it's Batty with a nice subtle juke, picking up a good extra bit there. Just needed 1, we get 7. Now, as we saw earlier, Batty will primarily be the power back just to help get that rotation going. And again, we're going to mess with these sliders for the substitutions as the season goes along. Though a good run there from Burkes, picks up another 7. Another perk to this style of offense is going to be draining some clock. Now, we do have a bunch out here, but that's actually a tight end and a fullback involved there as we pick up another first down. Slow, steady, methodical play. That is what we want from our offense. Rack up some first downs, drain the clock, get a couple scores in, and hopefully the defense can do their part. And as we saw them bend a good bit on their first drive, then finish with the pick, that's exactly what we need. As we go the stretch, no cut down towards the bottom, a spinning, but did you see the block? Someone got laid out there. And our offensive line is very much fitted towards being run blockers. As we come out from a single back set, it's 3rd and 6. As it will be a stretch down to the bottom. We don't get the key block we needed there from the tackle. Will actually end up being a field goal to end this drive. So the punter turned kicker, can he hit here? Would be about a 30-yarder as it's up and right down the middle. So outside of ending with a touchdown, that's how we want the offense to go. Need a little bit more here from our defense. That's 2 big plays back-to-back that sends us to the second quarter. 10 more going to Bateman. Need some more here from us. Unless we're going to end this drive with another pick, that'll do. 3rd and 1, we give up 5 to Deshaun Watson. As they're working the ball down inside the 25 and down to the 1 with Brandon Preston. They will knock it in the next play. He finishes off what he started there, make it 7-3 as our offense can head back out. And we will jump into the start of this drive as well, then start getting through the game a little bit quicker. It's a strong eye. Burkes down the middle looking for a cut, not really finding it. However, there's an injury. It's Kevin Givens for the Arizona Cardinals. They'll lose one of their defensive linemen. Against a heavy run team, that might fit more in our favor, as it's a heavy look, all the tight ends to the top, right down the middle. Burkes bouncing off and nearly picks up the first down before being dragged down face first. We could already tell Bryant loving the new playbook. All he has to do is hand the ball off. There are passes, I swear, in this playbook. We just haven't had to use them yet. But that is a great stop and will force the punt. So the Cardinals answer back well their next time out on defense after adjusting. Now we just need our defense to answer back well on our 3rd time out. We just keep giving up chunk plays. Typically these are 5+ yards every single down, so our defense, they've got to step up here. It's not really a dominant Cardinals offense, though they do have some good players, as they're down close to the red zone. 3rd and 8, got to stand tall here, force a field goal, or give up the first down to Puka Nacua. That is what ends up happening as we hit the 2-minute warning. It's a touchdown to Juwan Johnson. We're inside 2 minutes. Now this is when the throws are going to happen as they miss the extra point. So it's 13-3. We really could use some points before half. Let's see what the offense can do as they start with a throwaway on Bryant's first pass. Same on second. 3rd down. Give us something. 2-yard rush, Traylon Burkes. Well, that's, yeah. Bryant does not seem to be the guy. Now, can our defense just limit points here before half as they keep picking up a couple chunks, then a throwaway, give up 5, 3rd and 5. There we go. Defense stands. Do they take the field goal? No, they went for it, but it's knocked away by Taylor Britt. We have 41 seconds. We have 3 timeouts. We're at the 38. Now, again, not really built to pass the ball, but that's what we've got to do here. Running's not going to work when we've got to go about 60, 70 yards. Going across, get this out to our receiver. It's Sheldon turning up and getting out of bounds. A first down close to midfield. Now, when we do go to pass the ball, we're going to see a lot of midfield crossing like Henry doing here. Though Sheldon going to come in motion, fake a little bit of a jet sweep, try to draw some guys down, then go Hunter Henry. But the ball placement is just bad. Though I do have some good news, there is another quarterback in this upcoming draft class we'll take a look at as the season moves along and we get some more information on him. As we go out to our receiver, it's tipped away. 3rd and 10. 27 seconds left. We still have all of our timeouts. 2 to the right, 1 to the left. A little bit of some play action. Got some guys coming across. That one placed well. It's Sheldon with a good block from Palmer, and we are gone. Diving in, we will narrow this lead down. We're going into halftime. Make it 13-10. Now, we just need to see a lot more plays like that. But as we get this second half started off, it will be our offense out first. However, we lose 2 yards trailing Burkes, and we gain back 1, 3rd and 11. Was sacked by Anton Cooks. So it's not great when we get behind the chains. That is for sure. As they pick up 3 on their first down, then knocked away by Curl. 3rd and 7, we give up 11 to Juwan Johnson. Then 8 more going Puka Nacua, 2nd and 2, first down from Preston. As they go back to Johnson, gain of 4. They've just had steady moving today. Our defense really has not bowed up well, and we give up a penalty on 3rd. Get them down inside the red zone. 2nd and 9, they get 8, 3rd and 1. They get a touchdown to Puka Nacua. Make it a 10-point ball game, 20-10. Offense not built for chasing. That's for sure. We need some big plays to pop off through the running game. Burkes picks up a first down, 3 more leaving 7. Now needs 1 here on 3rd. But we lose 2. 4th and 3. Now this is where we've got to be aggressive. Coming off a 1-win season, we need it this year. They got Bosa right down the middle. Interesting tactic against a run-heavy team. Well, we're going to go right back to Burkes, who will pick up that first. And from there, we're going to jump in. This is where we're going to start rotating some fresh legs in at running back. Right now, I believe that is Deion Andrews. 2nd year, 3rd year running back? Not exactly quite sure. He was a draftee of this universe. He picks up 4. Now, we will maybe have time for 1 more play here before the 4th, as long as Bryant snaps the ball, which they do not. So we'll head into the 4th. We're down 10. We have possession. This drive has to end with some amount of points. And we begin at the 38. With a strong eye, we go right back to Andrews, trying to find some space. Not much given. Basically just back to the line. 3rd and 6. We stick with heavy looks, 2 tight ends plus a fullback. It is Tyler Batty going right down the middle. The push there at the end does not quite get it at the 35. I don't trust the kick from here. But we'll keep the offense out as we spread 2 to the left-hand side, 1 to the right. Everyone going out on routes. We just need someone to open up, and it's Hunter Henry on a not supposed to be late release. However, he is shaken up after getting speared there. Looks like it's a lower body, maybe hip injury. We are pretty thin at the tight end spot. That's going to bring out Albert O, and that might bring out a little bit more of the fullbacks. We're sticking out here. We got to switch concept to the left-hand side, see if that opens up for Sheldon, and it just doesn't get there in time. Brewer adjusts well to the routes, knocks it away, leaves 2nd and 10. We're going to have a little bit of some throwing here, try to beat them, as that ball's placed nowhere close on what could have and should have been a touchdown. So 3rd and 10. We stick with the same look. Going to bring Sheldon in motion. If he wheels around, that could be pretty good here for us as long as the offensive line holds up. A little bit of a play across the middle. That's going to be Dennard for the touchdown. Not what we were originally looking for, but hey, if it's open, let's find it. Pulls us back to a field goal game. The pressure swings back over to the defense. Can they get a stop? With a little over 6.5 minutes left here. They start with a gain of 6, 2nd and 4, a first down to Juwan Johnson. They have not done well at slowing down this offense today. 2nd and 10, 22 yards, Puka Nacua. Gets them into plus territory by about 10 extra yards, closer to 15. Leaving 3rd and 5 here. Thrown away. Do they go with the field goal? No, they went for it. Fake field goal thrown away by Matt Corral. And a touchdown puts us in front. Field goal ties. Well, let's see what this offense can do. They can milk the rest of the clock. That is for sure, as long as we keep ahead of the chains. With a little subtle move to the outside, Andrews picks up a couple. And we might need to get Burkes out there in this drive as well. He's had a little bit of a breather. 2nd and 7. We go with another handoff, and it's stuffed for 3rd and 10. Well, offense, what do you got for us here? It's the Eagle tray look. 3 up top, 1 down to the bottom. Will be a throw from Bryant. In the pocket, dances around and does absolutely nothing. I mean, move, find some space, find a target. Well, that leaves us in a difficult spot. 4th and 10. Way back up. Our defense has struggled in getting stops, so we're going to go for it here. A little bit of some play action. Need to find someone, which we have. It's not a well-placed ball. He misses Palmer. He is 4 of 12 on the day. Well, defense, we put you in a bad spot. Good first play. It's a loss of 1. Can you hold them to a field goal here? It is 3rd and 8. They get 6. They went for it last time. This time, they take the field goal. Touchdown would still put us in front with the PAT. And for this drive, we are jumping in to help try to manage some clock. We want to drain it, leave no time while still getting that touchdown. As we start with a halfback screen, that's going to be an easy one to complete as Burkes finds some space, keeping those legs moving. It's a good gain on first down. And around this time is when we need to call some plays we haven't ran much of today. And how about a little bit of some read option? Hand this one off Burkes down the middle, plowing through some defenders, picks up 9 and will send us to the 2-minute warning. Now we've seen this team make some plays, but it's required us jumping in a little bit more than what I would like. They do walk down the safety to the left-hand side. If Burkes can just wheel route around them, that could be great. Or instead, Albert O going to the right-hand side will pick up a nice chunk. This offense really works best with these short, quick passing games, so we need to try to stick with that. Do have an RPO dialed up here, which we could just instead hand it off as Burkes has some blocking and another first down close to the red zone. I mean, honestly, very similar to the Panthers franchise. We just got to keep it our game, not fall into the Cardinals as we have another RPO dialed up. Dennard going on a deeper slant, or Sheldon bubble route, and we will bubble route it out, pick up a decent block. Not much. We'll pick up a few yards as we'll continue to let this clock move a little bit. Once it gets under 30 seconds, then we need to be a little bit more cautious. We do have all of our timeouts. Look for Burkes to that front right pylon, or Dennard if he can split the safeties even. Actually looks like they're covering that pretty well. We got our guy sitting across the middle. It is Sheldon picking up the catch, first down, and we'll call that first timeout about the 30-second mark. Now, with us still having some timeouts, we don't have to get away from the run game by any means, and we're going to use that with a little bit of an RPO dialed up. It's Bryant stretching down to the 2. We call our second timeout from there. Now, while we don't plan on using the read option all too much this year, I want it to be a slight wrinkle just to keep defenses honest. But we bring out the goal line set here. Need a good push up front. It's Batty powering through. We level this game. PAT puts us in front. Now, funnily enough, we talked about at the beginning about trying to get through this game quickly. That definitely hasn't happened. It's just been a good one. Need our defense to come up strong here as we give up a big catch on the first play. They call a timeout, 15 seconds left. All they need is a field goal. Hard count, no one moves. Field goal range probably about 20-ish yards away. Watson towards the top, has his guy. It's Puka Nacua, who's down to the 7. And they call a timeout. Field goal unit coming out. We're trying to ice them. And I do feel like that was on the side of Means, who did get the tackle on that play. So we might need to rotate him out. He might not be ready. And it might have just cost us this game. And as Madden does, well, first off, they decided to return the kick. So we don't have any time, but Madden glitches out here at the end. I'll just have to exit. It was a good start, but the defense definitely struggled in this one. Offense, though, scored more points than they've averaged in the last couple years. So that is a positive. And after the first 6 weeks, we would still be looking for our first win, though I have to say, some of these games, we definitely could have had it. We haven't played against very many good teams outside of the Seahawks that we got destroyed, 45-14. But the Jets, Raiders, Titans, and Dolphins, none were having good seasons. And we had at least a couple close games. Titans, a 2-point game. Dolphins, 12-point, but still, it's just the team is driving, but they're not getting the ball into the end zone. We're just not finishing drives. Defense improved after I did not switch Gillespie into the starting spot. After week 2, he was. So that seemingly fixed the defense. The defense is standing tall in a lot of these games. But we are still winless, and we face the Chargers here in week 7. And right now, the Chargers are 4-2 atop our division. Once again, our division is not doing that great. The Broncos and Raiders 2-4. If we could just put together some wins, we might be able to start pulling ourselves up here, but we are 0-6. I'm sure the percentage of making the playoffs as an 0-6 team is like 0.002%. But if we could just turn things around a little bit, we could definitely find our way there. Up to this point in the season, we still are the worst offense. That seemingly continues to be the case. 20th ranked defense, although, yeah, clearly the defense doing a lot better than the offense. Khalid Bryant, though, he has not thrown more interceptions than touchdowns. He's just not throwing it that many times. About 10 to 15 per game. Fine. That's about as much as he needs. Treylon Burkes, he's averaging 4 yards a rush. However, we just have 4 rushing touchdowns. So we clearly need to finish off these drives. We might need to tweak the playbook maybe a little bit, get a few more passes involved. That might help things out. That might be the reason why we're stalling out on these drives. Our leading receiver through 6 games, just 20 catches for 217 yards. Again, we're just not passing that much because we don't have a quarterback who can. Yet somehow we're still giving up about a sack a game. Defensively, Greenlaw leads us in tackles with 40, though closely followed behind by Drew Sanders. Tackles for a loss, Caleb Dawson actually leading us in this one, though Wise and Watts right behind. Sacks, still not seeing very many. This is 3, so half a sack a game. That is not good enough, though Greenlaw 2 picks. Good on him. Kicking, actually the punter turned kicker doing pretty well. He's hit 4 of 5, 7 of 8 on his extra points. I'll take that. But as we sit in a critical part of the season here, where if we could get a win against the Chargers, that could be huge. We also have a breakout for our defensive lineman in Caleb Dawson. So if he could have a big game, that would really be fantastic. We have to hold them to less than 100 rushing yards, or he himself just 1 interception, forced fumble, tackle for a loss, or sack. So let's jump into a quarter sim here this week and see if there is any hope for the rest of the season. And at least it's going to be a home game as we get this one underway. We give up a field goal and we were driving, it looked like there towards the end of the quarter. Starting the second, we do get a field goal back, give up a touchdown, driving, stall. Defense gives up a big play and another big play, and somehow at halftime, it is 17-3. Not exactly what we were looking for. As we get through the third quarter, it is now 24-3. The offense not moving at all. Let's get through the end of this game. Can we find a touchdown at least? We give up a touchdown, and no, we cannot. It's a big loss against the Chargers, so I think we got to start getting through this season a little bit quicker. But at least one positive from that game is we did get the breakout for Dawson, so he's going to move up to a star. And we would finally get our first win very late on in the season in an upset on the Pittsburgh Steelers, which took a 20-point fourth quarter, 36-35. And I do have to say, after that previous game we watched, I went away from the playbook that we created because it just wasn't working. We went back to the Dallas Cowboys, and I can't really say it's helped out much, but we did finally get a win in this one. Just a quick look. Khalid Bryant threw 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 62% completion though. Meanwhile, Burkes didn't see as many carries, but he was more effective, 5.9 with a touchdown. So a little bit of some good, a little bit of some bad. And a couple weeks later, we would get another upset win, 21-14 over the Chargers. Nothing as flashy. In fact, we didn't really do much in that fourth quarter, but the defense, they just came to play. 3 more touchdowns for Bryant in that one. Another 1 interception, below 60% completion. As for the running back, Tyler Batty was actually the primary guy, 4.6 yard a rush, 4.4 for Treylon Burkes. So at least they're doing pretty well. Denzel Sheldon had a pretty good game, had a touchdown, as well as Palmer. All around pretty solid. But in the game after, we would come up 4 points shy of the win against the Rams, leaving us here in week 18, which we will jump into a little bit of some action against the Bucs. But before we finish off this episode, I want to talk a little preview of what's going to happen next episode. Now, obviously, our offense has been horrific throughout this entire series so far, as well as the defense is not that good. But we finally have been given a draft full of players which we could actually draft. 13 total starting over on offense. There is a quarterback in Josh Hazelton. Out of Nebraska, 6'2", 219. He's a scrambler type. And that scrambler type is supposed to bring good to great speed with solid to good throw power. So it's a little bit of a different style quarterback, a lot of a different style quarterback. The accuracies, they don't look fantastic, but there's play action, there's some awareness, some break sack in there, injury's supposed to be good, carrying's supposed to be good. So I feel like he's someone we definitely need to go after. And right now, I think we're probably slated to have the first, or if not a top 3 pick. So we could definitely get Josh Hazelton. Maybe we trade away Bryant. I don't know. We will see, but we clearly haven't had it with him. And with Hazelton, maybe we would. Maybe he's a hidden dev. On top of him, there is an intriguing running back in Nick Roberson out of Nebraska, 6'1", 223. Round 3 to 4, we don't necessarily need another running back, but he looks really good, and why not add as much talent as possible? There's another day 3 running back who actually looks like he might be solid, even the potential undrafted. He has a pretty good range. Now there's also a couple different receivers. Victor Weaver does look interesting out of Missouri, 6'1", 193, around 3 to 4. He is listed as a slot archetype, and he's supposed to have solid to good speed with some better acceleration, agility, and change of direction. There's a lot unknown with him, but he should have some pretty solid hands. Doesn't seem to be a polished route runner, though. Outside of him, there is a couple of day 3 receivers. There is a potential undrafted tight end who also has a good range, but very unknown. However, no run blocking with him. There are some defensive linemen, which is good because we could use some. Jamal Downing, a day 3 prospect, has C block shed as well as power moves. Fine by me, we need some depth. At 267, he would definitely be a left or right end. Then there is Terrence Saunders, 6'4", 320. He has A to C power moves, C block shed. He might be a good guy for the middle. There's a coverage linebacker in Will Merritt. Not much of block shedding. He would be a depth guy at around 3 to 4 projection, but the coverage is an A. Take that with a grain of salt because he is an outside backer. There's also an edge rusher here in Dante Hopkins at 6'2", 253, another round 3 to 4 projection. A lot of mid-round guys here, and he has not a whole lot of speed, but some good to great strength with great to elite acceleration. B block shed, B power moves. Again, we need as much help for our defensive line as possible. There's been a whole lot of regression, not a lot of progression. So bringing someone in like him could be solid for us. And then rounding out the class, there is a safety in Brian Lowry. Out of Missouri, 6'1", 205, a true round 1 to 2 projection, and he might be the free safety I've been looking for. Good to great speed, solid to good acceleration, might be able to fly around there as a true zone safety with B zone, D man, but does have good awareness, and his play rec also B. So all around, he could be a really solid guy to help fill out that safety spot that we really haven't had any dominance, even from Kareem Curl, for being honest. So very opposite to what we've done the past couple drafts where we haven't really done much. We've used it to trade for other players. There's not many other players to trade for. So we're going to go heavy in the draft, and we're probably going to use a lot of our picks from future drafts that we can't actually use to trade back in and bring in as many of these guys as possible because this team is desperate for an injection of true talent. Well, before we wrap up, let's jump in for a little bit of Week 18 action. See if this team can do anything as we close out. Get a little bit of some XP, then we'll take a look at the stats and round up Season 4. And as we get started, it will be a quarter sim. Get at least into the second half as there's not much happening. We do give up a field goal, but honestly, that's, I feel, a little bit of a dub. 3-0 as we start the second quarter. Get a field goal. Give up another field goal drive, and before half, we do not get the field goal. So 6-3. Let's slow it down a little bit as we enter the second half. If we get inside the red zones, we'll definitely chime in for a little bit of some action. We do start on offense, and it's a sack play 1, loss of 4. All right. Then a drop pass by Tyler Batty. Leaves 3rd and 14. We pick up 26 to Cecil Dennard. All right. We are missing one of our receivers in this game with a pulled groin, I believe it was. Although not coming to my mind as to who it was. I want to say the sophomore receiver. But we're getting close to that red zone as we pick up 19. Yeah, that'll do. Down to the 13. As we spread wide, got 3 down to the bottom, 1 up top. Bryant, and possibly his last game with us. He will throw, maybe. Pass rush coming in, he will not throw. He takes a bicep to the face. Allen gets right around the tackle, and for some reason it looks like it's flipped the direction which we're going. I don't know. Either way, Bryant throwing, going towards the back pylon, and he misses Landers, who was open. And just the shock factor is his ratings actually aren't that bad. His accuracies are pretty decent. He's just not throwing an accurate ball, and that play went nowhere. Stuffed by Green, and it will be a field goal attempt. So we'll bring out the former punter. This one from the 32, a 42-yarder to tie this game up, and it is good. Well, defense, you've played really well so far today, just giving up 2 field goals. See a little bit more of it? As it's 3rd and 3, we give up 21 to Stefon Diggs. Then 9 more on the rush to Justin Fields. 4 more first down to Warren. They are moving, and yeah, they are scoring as Stefon Diggs with another big catch, 33 yards. Puts them back in front, 13-6. Well, offense, can you keep this thing going here? You got points last time out. Now you have a 3rd and 7. And you pick up 15, finding Landers this time. Then a 1-yard rush by Batty as the sun just went away very quickly as we hit the 4th quarter. Now with a 3rd and 4, we throw it away. But we are not giving up. We've just won 2 games this year, so why would we? 4th and 4, hard count, no one jumps. Got some slants dialed up. It's open for Palmer, who's got us down close to the 30. Technically, it's still 12 yards away from the red zone, but we'll stay out here as we bring out a I formation. 1 tight end to either side as well. Go the stretch towards the top. Batty with all the space. Can he outrun? No, he cannot outrun the defense, but he does have us down to the 16. So far in this one, have not seen Burkes. Hopefully he didn't get injured. It's going to be a throw here. Bryant does actually throw it, and it's not caught by Alberto. Just very interested to see if we could get this new quarterback, if he would just have that, not necessarily be an actual X factor, but have an X factor in the fact that he just makes things happen. That's something we really haven't had with Bryant, which is why we went so run heavy to start this episode, and obviously that clearly wasn't working either. 3rd and 6. Pass rush freezes quite literally, and we throw a touchdown. Gotta love Madden sometimes. Samori Toure gets us in the end zone as we level the game up once again. Now we just need the defense to come through as we give up 13, play 1. 6 more goes to Warren. Thrown away by Fields, leaves 3rd and 4, and we give up 10 to Stefon Diggs. 7 more going to Jalen Warren in plus territory, then they lose 2. 3rd and 5, we give up 5 to Laporta, but it is 4th and inches. Do they go for it? No. They went with the field goal and they missed. We have 3:31 on the clock. And from there, we are jumping out here. I would just want to control this drive, milk some clock, try to find a winner here late for a little bit of some morale as we just took a shot there on that play. Now, I did also check the depth chart, and we should have Burkes out there, but I think due to the auto sub sliders, his just stamina is so low that he's not out here. As we chalk this one deep, not enough speed, but Toure almost gets it off the tip. We nearly found ourselves there sitting very lucky, but instead it's 3rd and 9 as we're going to set up the screen to Dennard. Need some blocks out in front, and well, there really aren't any. It's not a gain of anything, maybe even a loss of an inch or 2, leaves us with 4th and 9. With the game on the line, we do punt it away. See if our defense can make one more stop here for us. 2nd and 6, they get the 7, which we already saw. As we're inside now the 2-minute warning, they get 12 to Warren. About a minute and a half, 9 more to Jordan Addison. This is a very interesting Buccaneers team as they're working into field goal range. 2nd and 6, get a gain of 2. 3rd and 4, they're definitely in range now, but they don't need the range as they're still moving. And they don't call a timeout, and we head to overtime. All right, good job, AI. Well, it's going to be the Buccaneers with the ball, so they still have a chance to win this one first as they start with Laporta once again. 12 more to Jordan Addison as they get 5 more rush by Field. 2nd and 5, 2 to Warren. 3rd and 3, 21 yards to Stephon Diggs. Touchdown would win it. Field goal keeps us alive. So it's 2nd and 5. They get 4 3rd and inches. It's a first down, and this might be it. No. They lose 2. Let's jump in for the last couple possible plays. They are down to the 7. They got trips up top, the tight end at the bottom. Fields with a hard count, no one moves. Then buys a little bit of some time. Then a throw up top, need a good tackle, which we get. And that was the rookie that we moved to safety. Don't know quite why he was out there, but he made the play. We'll give him some credit for that. It is 3rd and goal. They got 3 down to the bottom, 1 spread up top. Fields from the pocket. Moving around, trying to buy some space. He goes to scramble in for the win, and they do not get it. Wharton with the tackle leaves 4th and goal from the centimeter line. And they will go for the field goal, giving us a chance here with around 2 minutes as it is up and through. Now, we do not have very many timeouts, just 2, but we have the 2-minute warning to act as a timeout as we start back at the 25. We need at least a field goal here to just tie the game, but we go right down the middle for Landers, and it's through his hands. That could have been the big one. Instead, we have one more play before the 2-minute warning. If we could find Dennard splitting the safeties, though they shift him over. Pass rush working their way in. We get it out, but it's just a throwaway. As we mentioned, this line not built for pass blocking, not necessarily built for run blocking either, but they're slightly better at it. As we need a first down here, Alberto, that ball nowhere close, swatted away. Now the season comes down to this. Well, not really the season. It's not a good one either way. But it's 4th and 10 with a possible late season win on the line. Out for Alberto, and it's tipped away. That will do it. The Buccaneers will win in Week 18, and now we can swiftly move on to go check these stats. And in the wacky year that was just running the ball for the first half or so of the season and then adding some passing, Khalid Bryant finally does have that 2 touchdown to 1 interception ratio. However, he only completed 56% of his throws. I still don't think he's the guy for us moving forward, and hopefully the quarterback in the draft will be. As for Treylon Burkes, he ran over 200 times, had 874 yards, 5 touchdowns, averaged 4.2 per carry, but he did have 1 fumble. About 55 yards a game. Tyler Batty, a little less carries, but a pretty good split. He averaged 3.7 yards, 2 touchdowns for him. Bryant didn't have any rushing touchdowns this year. Deion Andrews, he had a few touches, 2 touchdowns. Unfortunately for Roundtree, who we wanted to bring back, he only ended up having 2 carries this year. So probably not a signing we needed, but whatever. As for the receiving game, Trey Palmer did leave us 47 catches on the season. Again, we did not really throw the ball the first half of the year. So decent stats for that. Trey Palmer had 609 yards, 3 touchdowns. Denzel Sheldon, 548 on 42 grabs for 4 touchdowns. Cecil Dennard was our leading touchdown guy here with 34 catches, 539, 5 touchdowns. Hunter Henry did have 1 touchdown, as well as Toure, Albert O, and Tyler Batty. The offensive line, when we did finally go to start throwing, it wasn't very good. Froholt, 13 sacks given up. Juergens, 13 sacks given up. Ragnow, 9. Not too good from our center. 5 from McGovern, actually did pretty well. Stromberg, good trade. We gave him a lot, but it seemingly worked out for us. As for the defense, only 1 tackler in the 100+. That is Drew Sanders at 108, though Greenlaw was 1 off. 3 off was Kendrick Stephens. So our middle linebackers, they did well. Tackles for a loss. Once again, we have 4 guys all in double digits. So we do well against run. It's just we're still not doing well against the pass. Armin Watts leads us with 18. That is 1.1 or something close to that per game. Not too bad. Wise with 16, 12 for Dawson, and 11 for Kendrick Stephens. As for sacks, still hideous. Our leading sacker was Caleb Dawson with 2.5, 2 for Jordan Elliott, as well as Drew Sanders, 1 for Wise, Collins, and Vin Agam, maybe, and then a half for a few amount of other players. Interceptions, Greenlaw led us with 3, 2 for Curl and Jacobs, 1 for Taylor Brett. Did we happen to have any defensive touchdowns? No. Safeties? No. What about some forced fumbles? Any of that? 1. Did we recover it? No. Kicking wise, 21 of 23 for the punter on extra points, not bad. 11 of 14, actually I think that's the best kicking we've had from a kicker, and it did not come from an actual kicker. So the season does not end well for us. You can see the seating over on the left-hand side for the AFC besides the ones behind my head. That's the Colts and the Bills. You can see all the ones over for the NFC. We clearly are not one of them, though we had one more win than we did last year and technically doubled our win total. So we're going to throw all the picks at the draft, hoping that they're going to come in and spark this team for one final go. As I think in total this series, we've won maybe 6 or 7 games. Hopefully, again, fingers crossed, knock on wood, season 5 blows us out of the water and we find ourselves a Super Bowl win. That would be the chaos that this team deserves. We'll find out next time. To make sure you do, hit that bear icon on the bottom right or scroll down and hit the sub button. They both do the same thing. And subscribing, if you tick the bell icon, you'll be notified of when these videos go live. This series, every single Wednesday and Saturday, plus you have the traditional Panthers franchise where we play every single game. That one every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, so 6 videos every single week, plus the highlights showing all these, the shorts, that is. So you guys got content all the time. Hope you guys are enjoying, and because next time will be season 5, if I remember at least, I'll have a poll posted for what the next state or states only challenge will be as soon as that video goes out. So make sure you're also checking the community tab. But we will see you all next time for one final go with the Central States Only Challenge.